What up, FIFA Tiers, and welcome to the FUT Tiers Podcast. This is a good start.
That makes the blooper reel.
Blooper reel.
There we go.
Welcome.
Just as I started doing a little dance as well, mate. Thank God.
Right. Let's try that again. And welcome to the FUT Tiers Podcast. I'm Mersgoth, and I've got two co-hosts with me, LAJS and B-Rad. Do you want to welcome yourselves on, guys?
I'll let you go first, Luke.
Oh, I was about to say the exact same. Hello. I don't really know what to say. Hello, everyone.
Wow, just say hello for now. I think that would, what I'll do is I'll lead with the proper intros, and then we'll take it in turns, right? Okay. But Brad, do you want to say hello?
I do. Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Good. Right. So, just a little explain for ourselves. So, this is episode 1 of our podcast, and basically, we formed a group called FSB, which, if people are wondering what that stands for, that is the FIFA Squad Builders. So, we're basically about FIFA content and football as well. I'm a big football fan. I know Luke is. I think, Brad, you're just not quite as big of a football fan as, say, me and Luke are, but you still sort of follow a bit and you play a lot of FIFA, don't you, really?
Yeah, I mean, I love football, so I always keep an eye on the results. I also gamble responsibly, everyone, but I do like a bet at the weekends. But yeah, I do love football, but I just don't support a team. Like, to me, supporting a team is like you put money into the club, you buy their shirts, you go and see a game. I don't have that affiliation with a club, but I do love the beautiful game.
You do, but if you were closest to any team,
name to a squad,
it would be Norwich.
It's going to be Norwich. Yeah, it's
exactly.
Going to be Norwich, yeah.
That's probably why he doesn't really want to be associated with a team, because it's Norwich that just go up and down from the Championship to the Premier League, like virtually every season. Is that might be a little part of it? I feel
it's true, but I mean, I could live in Cheltenham, and then I support Cheltenham, and they are nowhere near Norwich's level, so. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, I don't know why I picked Cheltenham, but
probably because I live near there.
Oh, do you? Oh, that was a pure coincidence. But yeah, so generally, they're an up and down team, and every single time we get there, we don't. And point of fact, this year doesn't count for that, but usually we don't spend the right money, and so then we just get faced with going down again. We're a selling club, so we get all our good players and then we go and sell them on, which will probably happen to Cantwell and Max Aarons by the end of this season, I imagine. Yeah. And it's just how things are. They never do the right thing to keep themselves afloat in the Premier League.
I support Arsenal myself, and ironically, Luke is my rival in some ways because he goes and supports none other than Spurs. Isn't that right, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, we both made mistakes in life. It's quite clear. I mean, we both made some very poor decisions.
Yeah.
And it's led us to here. So,
especially with what's going on with Arsenal this season as well, like how bad it is.
We got 3 points today.
Yeah, we got six against Norwich as well, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're basically all about FIFA content. We're going to be doing our own series and stuff like that, but we'll touch on that later. But we're going to get straight into the first topic, which is No, it's not reflecting. It's this week on FIFA 21. So this week, at the moment, we're in the middle of pre-season. Admittedly, all the bonus stuff for grinding towards FIFA 22 has ended, but we have got one of the best things at the moment: 85 plus packs. Oh my god, they're just so OP. I've done
it's ridiculous,
loads and loads of them, and then everything that I'm getting from them, I'm putting into the icon player picks, and through it, I've got myself Pele, Cruyff, Vieira, Best, Roberto Carlos, and I today got R9 Ronaldo in that. Like, that is how mind blowing.
It's alright for some, eh, Luke?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know,
who managed to get so
someone
far?
else have some luck for a change.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Talking about luck, like, come on, Luke. Like, you got yourself a tradable Patrick Vieira earlier in the year, and it was the prime icon moments. And do you want to tell everyone about like what you did with that, and then what ended up happening with maybe the coins?
No, not really. That's for reflected on FIFA 21. That's a topic for later, actually, in the video. We need to reflect more on this week, Mers. Come on.
Oh yeah, true.
Gotta stay on
this
topic,
week,
my
this
friend.
week.
True.
I'm getting carried. I'm getting ahead of
We'll
myself.
talk about Luke's
We'll talk
all
about
year round
Vieira
luck later.
and the 6
Yeah.
mil
Yeah.
in due course.
But
Yeah,
like with
6
the,
mil.
with the 85 pluses, what's like the best that you've managed to get yourself?
What in terms of like the best player out of it?
Yeah, what's like the best player that you have?
I had team of the season Messi.
Yeah.
And I've had Foden, I've had Lukaku. You can't stop the shine.
Yeah.
What
What about 99s?
And I've got De Bruyne. No 99s though.
No.
No,
I
not a single one.
don't know.
Neither with me.
Plenty of 98s. Plenty of Lewandowskis.
Loads.
Too many.
Plenty
Oh,
of Lewandowskis.
Yeah. Lewandowski's
I
been
think
my
I've had
premium
every
fodder.
98. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I've had every possible 98.
Yeah, I think.
I've-
Do you
I've
know
had
what?
the
The only one I
Bruyne.
haven't had,
Oh, gone.
if he is in, I'm sure he must be in the packs, is Acuna.
Yeah, I've had plenty
Yeah,
of Acuñas.
I've had a couple.
I ended up using too many Acuñas, and
I
then
actually
I had to buy
have
one.
him. Anyway, I packed him earlier, and when we did some like either player pick SBCs like a month or two ago. But yeah, since the new 85x10, I haven't actually got him. But yeah, like Mers, I've recycled mine into icons. I've got Rivaldo, Giggs. Who else have I got? My problem is my best one. So I have got Ronaldinho, and in that pick I had Rio Ferdinand, who I would have taken over most of my other icons that I've had to choose. I've got Gerrard. I think there are a couple others as well, but no one of note is obviously Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
It's just a shame Ferdinand came in the same pick.
That's just how it always happens, mate. If there's a good one, unless you're doing a blind pick, in which there's only always one good one and you always miss it.
You have to be a psycho to do that, I think.
I mean, I definitely didn't witness that happen the other day. Someone, not naming names, but basically, yeah, you always see the good ones bunch up, and you're like, God damn it! Why could I not have this instead of Laudrup, Schweinsteiger, and like Nakata?
Yeah,
Please.
I think earlier today I had like, oh yeah, I got a Kocher because he was the best one of a pick that involved Pires and was it? I think it was a
Littman?
defender. No, it was a defender. Maybe
Moore?
it'd been more. I think, and I would like take more for the for the heritage,
Picture.
but a Kocher's just a better card, so I took him.
Yeah, I've done quite a lot. I've done at least 25 icon picks, I think.
Oh no, I've only done like 7.
Yeah, so I've got quite a wide range. I think the only ones that I've taken dupes of is Eto and Roberto Carlos. Like,
I would love Eto.
other than that, I've now gone. If I see a dupe, I'm just going to pick somebody else now.
I would absolutely love to get Eto. Not gonna lie.
Oh, to be fair,
One of my favourite players
he's-
in the game.
He is actually quite good. I used him in a couple of FUT Champ games. He scored 8 goals in 2 games. That was how good he
Nice.
felt in the game itself. It made me think, do I want to grind towards that in FIFA 22 now, potentially? But obviously, again, maybe that's
So
something...
it's like a road to glory.
Yeah, in the road to glory sort of thing. But obviously, we'll talk about that maybe later with the FIFA 22 plans. But I think that's pretty much it with this week. Because other than, like, it's a new season, but all the new season rewards is just packs. And it's a bit funny because obviously it ends in a year's time, the new season. So it's like EA are expecting people to still play the game. But I wonder if they're still going to do objectives that help, like weekly objectives that will help speed up that grind. Because otherwise they're only going to have daily objectives to grind towards that level 30 rewards.
At the moment, having looked at it, there's a winning objective. If you win 50, I think per 10 wins or something like that, or maybe per 5, there's 6,000 XP currently for checking objectives.
Wow, I
Okay.
did not see that.
As the resident objective expert,
Yeah.
I did make sure to go through and check stuff like this.
Alright.
But there is something to get a bulk load of XP. They're not giving daily objectives.
That's
EA
okay.
aren't
That's something.
that dumb. Not quite.
I was going to say.
They do have something in place.
But the other thing I would say is that I noticed this week is they've still got FUT Champs going on in 2 weeks' time. And in 2 weeks' time, we've got like the early...
it'll be
the trial.
early access.
Yeah, the trial and the
Yeah.
early access. Are EA really expecting people to do FUT Champs when FIFA 22 is essentially on everyone's doorstep.
Thing is, I think obviously not everybody can afford the game, and
yeah,
maybe
true.
even if they can, they maybe haven't been able to get hold of a new gen console. So I think a lot of people, although they will obviously buy the game, like there's some people maybe are still waiting for that as well. There's loads of little things that I think they've done this because it's been such a rough year, and the way that they've run their content right at the end of FIFA, which arguably has been the best part of FIFA 21. I think this is why they're gonna literally run it into the ground before FIFA 22, especially as I've heard FIFA 22 isn't quite ready yet.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll move on.
The other thing we did want to say, though, don't forget the Showdown SBC, literally live now, is Monaco versus Marseille. We're 15 minutes in.
Marseille.
It's 0-0. Stats at the moment are in Marseille's favour, so at the moment Guendouzi could be an upgrade. But I mean, I loved his objectives card. I got the feeling I still got it in the club. You know?
Unfortunately, I never really got to use that card because someone made me discard him.
Yeah, see,
I don't know what you mean.
I don't think
Luke
it was
is
you,
the
actually.
objective killer.
I think that was actually Brad that made me discard him.
Oh, did I? Oh, okay. I don't feel bad about that.
I used to just get rid of all of Brad's objective cards.
Literally like
Bellerin,
you need to get a
subject for
if you guys are WWE fans, when Randy Orton is the legend killer, literally Luke is the objective killer. He needs to have that as a T-shirt for next year. Yeah, I do.
I'm wearing a wrestling shirt at the moment, actually, not even capping.
Oh, you're joking! I haven't put one on.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Oh, bad news, Barrett. That's a brilliant one. Okay. So I do. I still have my 89 Guendouzi, and then obviously the 95 pending this game. So I'll keep you updated if I notice any goals or anything in that match. But I just want to also touch on, for guys, we're talking about FIFA 22. As I said, some people might not be able to afford it. Some people, when they do afford it, might not be able to put money into the game. So make sure you go and check out the video on my channel. What a lovely plug and segue into that. There is a FIFA point giveaway on my channel. You need to go and watch the video. It will say in it, it's like my second from last video, so not the last FUT Eliminator. I mean, you can watch that if you want to, but the previous video to that about what's coming in FIFA 22 for my channel. All you've got to do is comment down in the description what console you're on for FIFA 22 and make sure you're subscribed. I'll be drawing that out on the 22nd of this month when early access goes live, and 4,600 FIFA points for free.
Also,
why not, eh?
If you want to go and find that link to that, because obviously it's audio, so I don't think we're going to have a description, so I can't put the link in, I don't think. So if you head over to our Twitter page, our FSB Creators on Twitter, you'll find links to that on there. So you go onto his YouTube channel and make sure to enter that giveaway.
As we mentioned, we're going to take a little look back into the past, and by the past I mean still the present. We're going to look back at FIFA 21 mainly as a whole, but I mean personally I'm going to look back on mainly the objectives. As I said, I am the objectives guy of this group, and when I think good objectives, Footy's obviously kicked it into overdrive with the likes of a Tau and a Dharma. I mean, those were long hauls. I hated every minute of it because that was 20 games in one night.
Yeah.
But then you found some sort of nice little ones in there. So even thinking as early objectives, the Silver Stars were a nice little change of pace.
Silver Stars was a great concept. I know, Mers, you weren't the biggest fan of it because, like you said, why have a silver player when there's a gold?
Yeah,
exactly.
I think generally...
I just think the idea was brilliant, though.
Yeah, I think early on, like some of the first, like maybe month or so, like you saw those in teams, but I think after... from October, sort of like late November onwards, I don't think I really saw a Silver Stars team in any one starting team, because the problem is yes, they had really boosted stats, but when you compared it to promo cards that were released alongside it, like the normal gold cards, the stats didn't really stack up against those, so they don't really go into people's teams. Like the Martinelli, for instance, like Luke was like, "Oh, you going to do it because he's an Arsenal player?" I'm like, "No, because to be honest, he's never going to get near my team." And just don't see the point of it. Yeah, sure, it's potentially only 3 games that you need to play for it, but
yeah,
just never really got into it.
The good thing about it was, I think, like you say, right at the start of FIFA, that was really good. It's such a cool concept. But then as soon as you get promos and stuff, and they didn't quite keep the level of silver cards to match the promo stats, they then became, like you say, you might do it for a bit of fun, or if you'd done every other objective, you might then go and do them. But generally, everything that was then coming out for promos and future promos was always better as a card than a silver star card that was then coming out at the time. I think if they could make them either give them an upgrade thing like they did with the what they used to do with the other cards, didn't they? Where if you played them in games and stuff, you could upgrade like the Future Stars ones back in the day. If you remember,
the academy. The
the academy type thing.
Like if they Odegaard, like Zaniolo, I think there was it was Osimhen.
Yes.
Someone else.
Yeah.
And Dan James.
I think if they could do them so that as a new promo, or as say they don't do it in line with promos and they just keep it in their own right, maybe like a month or 2 down the line that releases a Silver Stars, upgrade for that player, and you can go and you have to use that original player, score some goals, and then you get the new upgraded version. So same rating and everything, but just boosted stats. I think that would keep everybody interested in Silver Stars. I just think at the start it was great. It tailored off.
Yeah, because looking at some highlight ones, obviously the first one I believe was Matija Vidra. He ended up getting the footies just as a little nod back to that little reference.
Yeah.
But I think the most notable one of the early ones, I mean, Adeyemi was in there, but I think Che Adams is the one everyone remembers,
yes,
right?
yeah.
Oh, everybody had that
That's
card.
the one that was probably the moment when everyone was like, oh my god, Silver Stars has peaked.
Yeah.
Che Adams was nutty, and then it sort of went down a peg or two. But yeah, looking at throughout other objectives throughout the year, Koundé was a great little touch that they added in.
Loves Koundé, still got him.
During that sort of time period. You had
still got him. I loved what was the other one? Mole.
Oh yeah, Mole, the league objective card.
Yeah,
so
he was in my team for a long time.
I think Benedetto was a cool back video. That was one of our early heated head-to-heads. Was on Dario Benedetto's one. That one.
I think I still got him as well.
Best
actually,
card, but it was him. There was, I'm trying to think, Delafeu. I didn't do him, but that was another one. Bellerin, obviously.
Oh yeah, don't talk to me about Bellerin.
Don't talk about Bellerin or Correa. Don't mention either of them two to Brad.
A recurring one, Tonali.
He did get, he got 2.
Yeah.
He did get 2. And then there was that Team of the Year Team of the Year not quite Jack Grealish as well.
It's one of those things.
Some interesting ones.
It's one of those things again with FIFA, isn't it? It's always been the case that like there's plenty of players, yet they always seem to want to recycle the same cards. Like
yes.
It's a shame because I would love for them to just go and take for instance, I mean it's different because he's only moved to Crystal Palace now, but say for instance Edouard, who because if not you're just going to keep you're going to keep giving Zaha special cards because he's the only notable player from Crystal Palace, or go and give Milivojevic a stupid CDM card that we can get behind and stuff every single time. It's just the same players every single time. They need to branch that out big time.
Definitely.
I mean that's fair. The interesting thing with Tonali, he didn't have a single tradable special card, I don't think, all year.
No.
He had the ones to watch SBC at the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
He had the objective cards around Team of the Year, and then he had this footies one. He did not have a single tradable, unless I'm forgetting something. I don't think Tonali had a single tradable special card all year.
I don't think so.
No, he didn't.
1 SBC, 2 objectives.
Yeah, that is, and that's what I mean. As 3 different card types for one player. There are other players, EA. Come on now.
Is there anything else you guys want to reflect on for FIFA 21? Because obviously objectives was a big part of it. They set that up this year. But anything?
The only thing
you guys remember?
The only thing I want to reflect on again, talking about the same kind of instance, is Player of the Month cards that then get an upgraded promo card. What's the point? What is the point?
We're looking back fondly, clearly in this situation.
Well, yeah, but it's the same thing again, isn't it? What's the point in giving me? So, you guys won't know if you've seen my recent content, but I did a Haaland of Hope and Glory series this year. So when I first started, I had Haaland because he was, cover star. He was going to be the next big thing, and although unplayable in this game at an 84 rated, he did get better. And yeah, I'd go and buy his headliners card when it came out, stupid amount of money, and then he goes and gets a player of the month, so I go and do the player of the month. Next thing his headliner's more rated, then he gets another, like a UCL card, and then he goes and gets his team of the city, and you just think, what's the point? What is the point? What is the point? Like, why if you know that you're going to get someone voted in a player of the month card, don't include him in that next promo. Because you're just robbing everybody of everything they put into that previous player of them. And I know EA love to do that. They love to get rid of people's fodder because they want the money. But yeah, from a fan perspective, it's just poor.
I would say also another good thing that I liked about FIFA 21 was the amount of icon swaps that we actually had, rather than it just being like two sort of batches and stuff.
Actually,
we had 4.
That was good.
I think, was it 4 batches in total in the end?
Yes, 4 batches.
Yeah, 4 batches.
There was each 2 segments to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it crossed 2 seasons each time. So we ended up having 9 seasons with like 8 sets of icon swaps or something.
And the thing with him as well is like the addition of the packs thing was so cool. Like, if you weren't really fussed about having icons, because a lot of people will know that, other than giving everyone else chemistry, there are a lot of promo cards that are a lot better than icons are in the game, then you were much better off getting those, getting that 83 times 25 pack, wait until that next promo, and then getting that out. Even if you didn't get one, you got premium fodder, so that when that SBC came out for that Tonali again, you could go and put it in to that Tonali, or whatever card it was, and that would be much better than taking 7 icon swaps for a mid-Veron.
Oh yeah,
for instance.
I would say the icons in the selections weren't necessarily fantastic as well. Like, especially in this current batch where you have the first icon is
Kaka.
It's Kaka, which isn't too bad. But the next one was Prime Eusebio. Oh no, it was Baby Eusebio.
Yes. And mid
Baby.
And there was a mid Pele in there as well.
Yeah. Or was it last time that was Baby Eusebio? But it's like...
No, Baby Eusebio, 6 swaps. We've got Diego Maradona, Prime for 9. We've got mid Pele for 10. And then we have Maldini for 15 moments.
Yeah.
And then moments Zidane for 17.
I think you could have either changed some of those other, like the Baby, the mid and stuff, for maybe some of the icon moments, or make those Pele's or Eusebios the prime icon moments and just make them all like 17 tokens or something like that. If you want, have multiple 17 tokens.
You could, you could.
I mean, they like to give people like lower options though. You can't just.
I know,
look,
but
his guaranteed players at 17 for. There's this one's 16, this one's 15.
No, but you could give them more options within the same. You could give them more options within the same. Like you could do a player pick.
Yeah.
Of those 3 icons, and you choose which one you want.
That would be good.
Rather than like say this one's 11, this one's 12, this one's 13. You just say, oh, this one's 11, and you can choose between these 3, and then you still get to use your other 2 spare tokens on an 81 times 25 pack. I'd be well up. I think that would be a great. That would be a great addition.
Yeah, because don't forget, there's 101 icons in the game right at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Which, with 20 icons over the 4 icon swaps, you could have maybe upped that a little bit and had a bit more variety going on in there. Maybe even go with 7 icons in each set bit, because then you, like I was saying, like you change that Pele to the prime icon moments, you make it 17 tokens, and then in that icon in that Pele slot you pick someone like I don't know, maybe a Figo or something like that. Prime icon moments Figo. Someone that looks like, do you know what, that might be nice to maybe try out. I've never used it before. I'll take that for like 6 or 7 tokens instead.
Yeah, that would be cool. One thing I do before we move on to the next topic though, one big thing for reflection on FIFA, especially this year, that I would want to get your thoughts on and how you feel about it is golden goal.
I'm a fan of it personally because of the fact it gets your objectives done in as short a space of time. Like with icon swaps, right? You have to play, was it 12 with like the league Pacific teams? Or was it
10?
10. So yeah, if you
10.
imagine
Yeah,
10 games, playing that full, and I mean, you can get the 4 wins, that's not too bad. But then, like, you got the outside shots. Like, if you don't achieve that in 10, let's say you have to then play 14 instead, and there's no like rage quits. That is going to be around 6 to 7 hours. Whereas in Golden Goal trims it down to like 2 or 3, the most. So I think it was just good.
My thought about it is though, do you think it's a privilege or a right? So do you think that like everybody should be doing it, or do you think like it just makes common sense to do it, so everyone in that sense should be doing it? Or do you just think do you think you just have to accept that sometimes you're going to come up against someone who wants to play the game and their win-loss record or whatever, even though most of it is on friendlies, is, you know, they want to just win every game they play?
I think it's common sense at the end of the day, because surely everyone should realise by doing Golden Goal, you're getting things done quicker. It's for everyone's benefit. Like, being stubborn and saying, oh, do you know what, I'm going to now go and score 10 goals because I feel like it, and have... Like, okay, I'll put to be fair, if someone is doing that and I don't need to win or score an outside, or I've already scored my outside of the box shot, I'll just put the controller down, to be fair, and just leave them to it if that's what they really want to do, because then that doesn't really bother me too much, because I could go off. I mean, during streams it's a bit annoying because like you then sat there like not being out doing much when you're thinking to yourself, all right, I could just got into the next game already by now.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean, and I'm of the same thought. I think it's common sense, but at the same time, like it also depends what mood they catch me on. If they catch me on a mood where I want to get things done quickly and I go 1 up and they don't quit, if they do equalise, just sometimes I am going to quit.
Yep.
I'm just going to be that guy.
I'm not going to pretend that I've not been that guy before.
I just think because I can actually get in another game and get a golden goal quicker, then let's play the rest of that game out.
Yep. That's
all
it
is. That's all it is.
Especially if it's early doors. If it's first 10 minutes, I'll gladly do it.
Yeah,
they'll get their goal, because they'll still get their things towards it. Like, fair enough, they get their goal, they get their played match in icon swaps, for example.
Yeah.
But it just wastes another 12-minute game.
Yeah, about that. I'd say with stoppages and things. Yeah.
If you've got what you need in the first 10 minutes of the match,
just let it go,
and then they just don't go. It's just you're just killing another 10 minutes worth of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like,
right, before we just move on, I'm just going to do a score update. It's still 0-0. Half an hour in.
Okay.
So no upgrades.
I have checked the Haaland stat. That was a man of the match card that came out.
It was a man of the match.
Going to not give him a man of the match card.
No, that's true. That is performance based. Yeah.
And also, we mentioned Player of the Month cards. Serie A's actually getting Player of the Month cards next FIFA. That's a fun fact for you.
They are.
Well, it's about time.
FIFA, but they are getting it in this coming FIFA.
Which will mean all top 5 leagues will now have a Player of the Month.
Oh,
really?
what the Portuguese league is going to have it?
Getting it.
Oh,
let's segue to. Good segue though. Good segue.
Right. So,
yours, Mers.
Right, we're moving on to what are we looking forward to in FIFA 22. So obviously, FIFA 22 is roughly about 11 days away from the recording, if we're going by when the trial begins. So the EA Plays trial. So the early access, I think, is on
22nd.
That early access is when you've obviously pre-ordered the game and then get it 3 days early. So that is 28th. So that's 17 days time. So just over 2 weeks. And then web app is what, hopefully about 10 days away. I would say personally.
Yeah, they're
roughly that. But what in particular are you guys looking forward to the most with FIFA 22? Because to be fair, they are...
Early access for FIFA 22 is 22nd of September. Thought it was.
Yeah, exactly. So 11 days. So...
it's 11 days.
Yeah. He's talking about the actual full game.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what... The second part I was referring to, the early access, was the full game unlocking.
I see. Yeah, I mean, other than just do cheesy part, bringing you guys some awesome content. What I'm looking forward to for FIFA 22. Can I first start with what I'm not looking forward to?
Okay, fine. Okay. Make it a positive and a negative. Pros and cons, I suppose.
Man United teams, Varane, Ronaldo,
Sancho.
I think
you meant to keep going. You meant to keep going at this point. You say the whole teams.
It's just going to be the Varane Pogba hyperlink is going to set everybody in to do whatever they want, to link it to Ferland Mendy still to. Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to seeing that. I imagine that a lot of people will be having that in their first lot of FUT Champs teams. Yeah. But I am looking forward to, because I've never, ever packed him, in getting a Man United Ronaldo, because that guy will be worth absolute bank.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
he's got a few minor downgrades, I think, on his face card stats, but yeah, he'll still be worth a good amount. I
would say 3 mil.
I think Neymar probably might be potentially, or Mbappe, because Mbappe's getting a big upgrade because he's going to 91 this year. So
+1.
He might be a bit more expensive potentially, because obviously with the Neymar and the Messi now as well, and PSG having quite a lot of good cards in this upcoming FIFA 22. So it'll be interesting to see who is the most expensive, because I think slowly Ronaldo's price year on year has been like, he's losing that sort of high price mark really, because Mbappe was the one this year I think that really kept that value for quite a long period of time, like over the one.
But it's French, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's French.
I was going to say it's 96 pace compared to about just clinging to 90, maybe.
Yeah.
That'll help. That'll help someone's cause.
Yeah.
And it's that thing, isn't it? Quite early on, we found that like pace, dribbling, and then sort of things were really high on the meta of the game.
Like directional nutmegs and
exactly.
Everything
like
that.
I've got a fly attacking my webcam. Get it.
That's been a nice little Easter egg for YouTube.
That's what it is, living in the country. I think I'm looking forward to seeing what the new meta is going to be.
I think
because we know there is one. We know there is one all the time.
There always is going to be one. Like FIFA 15, it was shoot near post and run fast.
Yeah, and then was it like El Tornado crosses in? Yeah. So really, I mean, I don't do skill moves. Oh, there we go. Goal update. Marseille have just scored.
I told you Marseille better.
Live and in living colour. Gwendozi is getting an upgrade, and the rat is staying at 95.
Yeah. So I think like, I personally don't use skill moves. I like to just pass the ball around and try and play what I think is actual football. Because I don't see many people week in week out in the Premier League doing, lacroquettes and all that sort of stuff. We might see it a bit more now. Ronaldo's back, but
maybe if you stop watching Burnley, you might see a couple more things. There.
Yeah. Sorry,
it sounds like you're just watching Burnley.
Just watch
versus,
Chris Wood.
It's like watching Burnley Newcastle every week when St Maximin's injured.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, you see a lot of one-on-ones and dribbling. Don't get me wrong, as that. But in terms of skill moves, I think they were so overpowered this year. To not be a skiller, you basically couldn't get elite. I mean, Luke couldn't anyway.
Here we go. Here we go. All right.
And so I think I'm looking forward to seeing if there is a meta, how strong the meta's going to be, and whether it's something that I'll actually be able to get on board with if I have to conform.
Well, it's going to be pace. It's like for starting teams and stuff, isn't it?
What? No
way. Yeah, exactly.
You're saying quick person go faster than slow person?
Yeah. Is that a meta?
God.
Is that a meta?
However, we won't hopefully be seeing many fullbacks at centre back due to EA saying that they're going to put like a downgrade on people and the fullbacks that are playing centre back. So on the position.
Yeah, something about they're going to change the chemistry, aren't they, or something? So what they'll be on.
I can still play my Vardy at centre mid, and we'll be okay. That's when we'll be okay if we can still do wacky things like that. And Gary Mina at striker and stuff like that. That'll be great if we can continue on that vein. Yeah.
What are you guys looking forward to then?
I actually got to say, 20 game FUT Champs is probably a little bit of a blessing because, to be honest,
for your stress levels.
Yeah, less stress levels.
And your rage.
But also, it's the fact that you can break up the games a bit more easier over the weekend as well now. So you can go, okay, I'll play 7 today, 7 the next day, and then 6 on the Sunday or something like that. So it makes it a bit more manageable. And also they're making
even for those
changes.
Even for those people though that actually only that just want to do the in one go. 20 games actually isn't that bad if people only have one day really to do it. Not really.
I mean, look at me with my objectives last year. Play 20 games.
Well, there you
get
go.
a towel done.
Then you get all your FUT Champs. And are you going to be doing 2 FUT Champs? Because I know like this year you were doing on a few occasions 2 sets of FUT Champs on like your Xbox and PlayStation side of things. Are you?
That's just disgusting.
Possibly. I mean, 56 games 2-3 weeks ago proves that point exactly. That
disgusting.
was the biggest mistake I've ever made. Gold 1 and Gold 2, though, respectively.
It's just disgusting. I can't believe someone wants to put themselves through that.
You seem to phrase wants to put themselves through that. It was just a final push at maybe we could somehow stop you taking a jab at me and saying elite. But that's failed. That gambit's gone. I've got to go 17 wins this week with 3 losses to try and make that happen.
I just played. I've played it. I think maybe 3 times this year, and each time it makes me want to go and kill my neighbours.
Okay, we're going dark. All right.
It gives me the most unbelievable rage and stress like no other thing in my life, and I've got a newborn that is giving me next to no sleep. So yeah, it's just I can't.
Sounds like a good combo.
I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, how am I going? How would I play FUT Champs first week of FIFA 22 with hardly any sleep? That's just not going to happen.
Well, you've got about a month because it wouldn't be the first week anyway.
Yeah,
it's about 2 weeks or something like that into the game anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that he improves, but yeah, enough about my lack of sleep. Get the violins out for me.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
Another thing with the champs though is they're also changing the rewards, which is now a situation where the actual elite players are going to get better rewards because of the fact is they're doing these tiered players. So like if you get silver, you might get an 85 rated version of a certain player. If you then get gold, you might get an 87, and then if you get elite, you get like an 89 version. So that might make things a bit more interesting because imagine if you're not a great particular player, like you get gold 3 every week, and you go onto that loading screen and instantaneously you see someone who clearly gets elite because they've got that elite level player in there. You're going to feel like very under pressure in that game, potentially.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And also, it will make the more skilled people more powerful, realistically, because the silvers will get the worst, and the golds will get somewhere in the middle, and the elites have got the most powerful teams because they're getting the best rewards, which is what people have been asking for. But I do think like that could make FUT Champs maybe a little less pleasurable, I suppose, because if you see that elite player and you start seeing that on a regular basis, then you're going to be like, oh great, look at this matchmaking, I'm coming up against elite players every single week. I can't be bothered with this stress.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that.
And
I mean, with that, I'd find it interesting to see how they implement that, because surely that's just going to hugely wreck informs. Like, if they're giving inform players, if you give a silver person, I assume the one on the market would be the one the silver person would get, and then there's an upgraded version for the gold player. If that person gets a second inform, what the hell happens then? Like, that's going to steamroll. Whoever's elite has got like the third or fourth. It's like having a headliner on crack.
It'll probably be like a learning curve though, won't it? They'll figure out.
Like, that's a big leap for them to make.
You see, I don't know if it's informs though. Unless they're changing the informs completely.
Unless they're giving special players out specifically.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing, because there's no way you could have
like an objective.
3 versions of the same inform player, basically, because that would just be really weird. Because then, surely, you've got to have... Because FUT Champs has always been a red version of that tradable player that you could potentially
Informed.
get, basically.
Yeah.
So then, does that mean
Season.
all 3 versions are going to be in packs?
No,
Exactly.
surely not.
Exactly. So which version would be in packs?
The lowest version.
Yeah.
I would imagine the
Makes
lowest
sense.
version.
Just put the
yeah.
lowest one in packs.
Yeah.
And then you get this better and better one. That would be how I would see it working. If you'd have asked me this maybe a couple months back, I'd have said, someone's had a nice fan theory. This is a concept that won't work, and now EA have actually gone and put it in, and now it sounds broken and ill-advised, but I will gladly be corrected when it actually works.
Yeah, yeah. And what about, like, were you guys going forward to FIFA 22? What are you thinking about, like, your starter players, like, in terms of who you've got in your mind a little bit as to your starter teams?
Well, with my RTG, I'm doing first owner. So, literally, it'll be whatever the packs decide I want to have, basically.
Okay.
So
Mers has got no one as a starter team. He'll have whichever common golds it gives him in his starter pack, and then pray for the best with coins.
Yeah.
I don't know why I feel Sabazalai is giving me a good shout. Like, as a cheap early player, I'm trying to look at a few sort of players that you could get like a cheap bargain for based off price they were last year.
Yeah.
I can't see Sabazalai being worth more than like a cut, like maybe 3K at most, someone like that. You got a few decent options. Like, I was thinking of making a hybrid. I know it's not the best thing, but from what we've played of Name Red Acted, or what I've played of Name Red Acted beta, crosses were really good. And I know it's not going to exactly perform like that, but if that's the case, I'll gladly take his strong link Andre Silva up top.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like if crossing's actually legitimately good, it might be good to have someone who's maybe a slightly bit slower, but is good in the air. So that's my only sort of thoughts of that, and maybe build a hybrid off that, because strong link, maybe get someone Portuguese, but like I haven't put too much thought into it, you know.
I'd actually started looking a little bit at doing a hybrid based on the 4-2-2, and I was looking at actually, because I want to try and incorporate the new Dumfries card, because obviously he gives you option not just to go Dutch, which I think is actually a good nation for FIFA 22 this year, but also to hybrid across obviously from Serie A through nations as well. But I was looking, and I actually had, like, at right back him, at Cam I had Promes, at CDM I had the new Wijnaldum card, and at striker I had Marlon at Dortmund. So it's like 4 different leagues with 4 different Dutch players, but gives me an option as promo cards come out to like go fully into one of them leagues.
Okay, my question here is, how much do you think that will cost?
Especially with Wijnaldum, especially if he's like...
Wijnaldum's probably going to be the most
50 to
expensive
100.
card. I don't see Marlon being more than 20k, because Bundesliga aren't ever that high, and I don't think he's going to necessarily have that higher rated card either. Dumfries might be around about 25-30k. I would say with them 4 cards, I wouldn't think it's going to be any more than 60-70k. And with
including Wijnaldum?
No. Sorry, them 3 cards, and then whatever Wijnaldum's worth. He's obviously not going to get an upgrade. I don't think he will.
He might hold, I reckon. I
think he'll hold at 85.
So last year he was 75k within the first week, and then went up a little bit more to 100k at one point at his peak.
But then you also, I'm also talking from a standpoint where not only am I getting free FIFA points for the pre-order of the edition anyway, the Ultimate Edition, but also I'm going to load up probably 24k at the start of the game.
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable amount. I'd probably
Um,
join you on that amount.
And so I think, I think, getting those sort of cards in my starter team. Obviously, the ideal is you pack some of them in some of your gold upgrades and stuff at the start, and you get them in untradeable, because really at the start you want to make coins from selling those types of cards at the right time. But
I'd say on putting them in on gold upgrade doesn't sound like selling them. You have to put a bunch of players into to get that.
I mean like your common gold, because obviously if I'm opening 7.5Ks, I'm going to get a lot of rubbish common golds that I'm going to put into upgrades and try and see if I can get someone decent. Icons. Obviously we now know that there's Cafu.
Before.
RVP, and Casillas.
Yeah.
Are you excited about
Yes.
any of those? I mean, we've kind of seen what an RVP. We probably know what that's going to look like as an icon card.
Wow.
Not
I know
usable.
what the face stats are. If I get the tweet up for.
Okay.
Go on, my friends.
Okay, yeah, do that. Casillas, I'm not excited about. I mean, it's a goalkeeper at the end of the day.
It creates some nice little strong links, but I mean, you know,
But
it's also
yeah,
got some odds.
who's going to get excited about
Another
a
goalkeeper
GK?
added this year in Dudek as a hero. So, I mean,
Yeah. Cafu, though,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, if they give him some different positions, I imagine he's just going to be another Carlos Alberto.
I expect him to be a right back, if not maybe one at centre back or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I'm expecting this to be a very similar situation to a Carlos Alberto.
very similar,
No,
almost identical. Yeah. What we got with those RVP stats, Mers? How are we getting
I'm
on?
trying to find the tweet still.
We tried to
He's
find
under
it
pressure
with
now.
time,
He's
so
under
I'm
pressure.
under
He's
pressure.
under pressure.
Here we go.
I feel like he's not going to be too much dissimilar off a Van Nistelrooy card. You know.
His baby card is essentially what looks the best in terms of pace anyway. So his baby
That's
card,
80,
87 rated. So I'll go for the key stats with him. Pace 87, shooting 89, dribbling 90. Mid card, 83 pace, 88 dribbling, 92 shooting, and a prime card, 85 pace, 90 dribbling, and 94 shooting. So the baby card, especially with 87, like, especially for the first few months, you stick a hunter on that, then
yeah.
it's
So-
got good enough pace basically. Casillas we don't really care too much about, and then
No,
Cafu.
and we just said, like we said, Cafu's going to be the same as Alberto, isn't he?
Yeah, basically. So the baby card is 89 pace, 86 defending, 83 physical.
Has it got the positions?
They're basically all right back. The prime's right wing back, but it's a right back.
Oh,
at the end
right,
of the day,
okay.
So.
But I'll say no cheeky centre back like an Alberto.
No, I thought he would have done. Yeah.
No, I don't think he's ever
Could
played
have happened, but
centre back. So I'm pretty sure he hasn't anyway.
shows how much I know about mid 2000s football.
Yeah.
Then the prime is 90 pace, 88 defending, and 84 physical. And the prime, 92 pace, 91 defending, 86 physical. So that looks like a really good card, to be fair. Like, I would happily take that. I'll happily take any three of those, to be fair.
Basically, I'll take any Brazilian icon defender, really.
Well, they would.
I think that's a safe bet there.
I'll take packing any icon out of an icon pack any time, because I think this year I had it once, and that was Drogba about 2 or 3 months ago when he was worth about 160k or something. So
I mean, I've had some very kind icon luck. We did say we'd touch on it earlier. I blew 6 million coins, which is what Mers wanted me to say earlier about that Vieira.
Yeah.
I spent it all again on packs with what's I believe famously known as the Stig method, which got renamed.
Yeah.
But basically, it started off. That all started with me, you know, just getting an Adama, and then getting the FUT birthday Adama, sold that. Then got Mora, sold that. Then I had coins and said, do a pack opening, 100k packs. Spent one on coins and got Vieira, and then that with Vardy as well, just to top that off. And then just kept blowing all my coins, just going, I've got this.
got the bug.
Spend 3 mil on a Sancho Pelé review, stuff like that. We can afford to do that, and then that just everything went wrong.
Yeah.
Need a coin sponsor, mate.
Addiction's a bad thing, guys. I'm not even capping. Pack addiction is a very big problem.
Yeah, it is. It's how EA make most of their money.
I'm at least glad I did it with coins and not real money. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
At least it was with a virtual currency instead of real currency.
Wow.
Indeed.
Wow, I definitely spent way too much this year, but
Oh, same here. But at least in that, at least it gave me some bumps where I didn't have to spend.
oh yeah,
real
definitely.
currency.
I mean, the highlight
That definitely
for
helped.
me in terms of packing icons was packing mid Sadov about 3 weeks into the game for 1.3 million tradable from just an SBC pack. So I was happy with that. So sold that. To be honest, I'm always a bit of I'd always avoid spending my coins. If I spend my coins, it tends to be more on the SBCs, like getting fodder in to do
I was about to
SBCs
say,
and
you
stuff.
just go first owner, so
Yeah, exactly.
I'm shocked you're afraid to spend coins.
Just keep it for series, don't you?
Worthless
Though
to you. They're pretty much worthless to you, mate, unless you're doing draft entries like insert series. There's a draft series happening this year.
Of course.
there is.
We will tell you about that more at the end of the video, but just a little teaser for you. But I think that's going to give us a nice little point to round off FIFA 22's little intros here with some one-to-watch players, which will obviously be the first promo of the year. So the ones that have been announced for the Premier League, they are Grealish, there's Kanate, Lukaku and Ronaldo, obviously. I expect there to be more announced, maybe even a part 2 of ones to watch, because let's be honest, there was a lot that happened specifically in Ligue 1 and the Premier League. So for only 4 in the Prem, as much as everyone's like, everything's all Prem every year, let's be honest, this year probably justifies having more Prem and more Ligue 1, the 6th best league, than anything else.
I mean, are we going to get? Do you think we're going to get like as many as we should from PSG? Are we going to really get a Ramos, a Wijnaldum, and a Messi? Are they really going to do that? Do you think?
And a Donnarumma and a
Hakimi.
Yeah, there's loads, isn't there? Like, can they really go and put out that many for one team?
If Wijnaldum doesn't get one, he'll be cheaper for your Dutch team.
It's true. It is true.
I don't think Wijnaldum will get in there. I feel Donnarumma will, because to be honest, in terms of goalkeepers, like there's going to be 2 goalkeepers in, and when you look at the goalkeeper options, you got Donnarumma, Mainan, and Rui Patricio. Yeah, because he's moved to AC. No, he's not in one to watch. Jokey joke. Oh.
You keep saying he, which is worrying me when you talk about your nan. You're reminding me of that Liverpool clip where it's like, if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle, but she doesn't, so she's not.
So confirmed one to watchers. I've got a list here.
Yes.
It says Messi's confirmed. Oh no, hang on. No, sorry, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
No.
Well, no, yeah.
Let's be honest. Messi's pretty
he's
much
going to
confirmed.
be in there.
They're going to want to do that.
No, so these are one to watch predictions. So I mean, we've got obviously Ronaldo, Lukaku. I mean, could you imagine that this article might be out of date, but I'm looking at obviously Jadon Sancho.
You'd hope he'd get one. You'd expect. Well,
I'd expect him to get one. Do you think if he gets one, he's going to get a rating boost?
No. Actually, yeah,
year,
I think it might be a +1 if anything. It won't be like a huge ratings boost. But
he had a few informs, did he? A couple of informs.
Well, hang on.
And a player of the month.
Aren't they reworking ones to watch? Hold up. Aren't they reworking ones to watch where it's based off of how the team does over certain points?
I did hear this. I did hear this.
It's not quite.
I reckon Sancho would get an upgrade then.
Yeah,
so
they do in this sort of situation where if a team gets an X amount of wins in a row, I think it is, they will do like a +1 initially.
A bit like the headliners.
Basically. And then after that, then they have to get the actual informs. They have to get the performance-based stuff, basically. So it's only just that initial one. I think it's just because of the fact that we've had so many years where there's been so many one-to-watches that just haven't actually performed very well, but like their teams might have performed, and I think it's just this way to make one-to-watches, maybe boost the value up a little bit at the start of the game. That go, okay, maybe I might go that with this guy because this team's on form. I'll go and buy that one because I know he's going to get an up +1 or something like that. Like we were saying, Kanate, right? Unless Liverpool go and get themselves an injury to like Matip or something, or Van Dijk, he's not really going to get much game time. So the chance of him getting a performance-based card is very limited. But with at least this, he's going to get that initial upgrade because Liverpool are bound to get those wins to get that.
But then with that format, it does make sense then that they're not going to just give loads from the same team out. Because they'll get upgraded. Yeah. The same player would get upgraded every time, wouldn't they?
PSG and Man United are a bit like.
Yeah, you've almost done too many transfers for FIFA 22.
Ronaldo confirmed as a ones to watch already. Maybe Sancho's on some slightly thinner ice.
Yeah.
But you'd still think with having he's an 87 naturally. He had a good year last year, probably an 88 or an 89 this year.
Yeah, I think he should definitely get an 88.
He missed. He'll probably get an upgrade. So you'd expect someone with that high rating. Because EA love chucking in some high rated players into ones to watch.
Now,
they go, look, here's this shiny new toy that's slightly more expensive.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
Now, if they do choose to cap the amount of players per team, the problem is with the French league, because I did some like possible one-to-watch cards for TikTok. I was looking up transfers for the French league, and realistically, there's not really a lot of other possible names. You've got Delort as one, the Algerian striker. You've got Shaqiri, and you've got like
the big man who's now getting an upgrade.
Yeah, and then you've got Badu.
Guendouzi.
You can do maybe Guendouzi, but I
transfer.
just don't see him being the type of player to potentially be given it, unless it's maybe as
By the same logic, you got Saliba. You could just talk about all the
or
people that left
Saliba.
Arsenal
Yeah,
behind.
basically. Because when you look at all previous years, you don't. I think you have what, maybe 5 or 6
look at
players
this year's
under
hopefully.
that sort of 80 rating.
Yeah.
A lot of them do tend to be around 80, 81, 82, and then obviously you've got like that good, because obviously they're trying to sell packs at the end of the day, and FIFA points to then get. So if you had too many low rated cards, people are going to go, oh, I don't really want to buy FIFA points, look what's in the one to watch. So,
Yeah.
Admittedly, there is a lot of big name signings as well this year anyway, because obviously you've got the big two, which is Ronaldo and Messi, and then you've got Lukaku, and then if you only say 2, the problem is then you go with CR7, who's the second one? Is it Varane or is it Sancho? Which one would you pick personally?
If I'm EA for money, I'm going Varane.
Same here. Like, because also you probably need to think about what defenders, because if they do like this 11 in team 1, 11 in team 2, they're probably going to be like, okay, we're going to have a goalkeeper, 3 or 4 defenders, then like the midfielders, and then the attackers basically. So they're going to have to look where the defenders are coming from, and Varane would be a perfect like fit for that. Obviously, you have got Alaba as well for a defender from Real Madrid, and you've got then you've
Boateng, hasn't he gone to Lyon? Is it?
He has.
He has. I mean, I'm predicting Upperman Kano to be in there for Bayern because he made the switch.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I would like to see Tomori, because obviously with his pace,
Tomori makes sense.
with his pace, if you get that and he can somehow get some informs, that card would potentially be cracked for a very
Lovely
long
card
time.
to hybridise with
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. So like that would be the sort of like the dream sort of like low rated. Because don't forget, I don't know if you've pre-ordered. Oh well, actually no, because the pre-order was Heroes, but with the Ultimate Edition,
What's
obviously.
Heroes?
We're getting the guaranteed one to watch packs now with the Ultimate Edition. So, like, you got to think about like what are we gonna most likely see? Because like, if we're gonna, the chances are we're gonna get a low rated player. Which of the low rated players are we gonna want? And if there's a Tomori in there who's like 80 rated, hopefully, fingers crossed, there's a good chance that potentially get him. Obviously, it's gonna be who is that dud? Who's gonna be?
I'd get Rashika, knowing my luck, because he's at Norwich.
He's
A Kosovan,
Nah,
at Norwich.
he's more likely to be on objective or SBC
Maybe,
one,
yeah,
basically.
maybe, yeah.
I feel.
I mean, I've decided to look up this year's ones to watches and count just how many didn't get an upgrade, and the answer's 11, by the way.
Wow.
The answers are in order of lowest to highest: Tonali,
Yeah.
Ake, Rodrigo, Matuidi, Semedo, Van der Beek, Allen, Artur, Tellez, Thiago, and Leroy Sané.
And there's a common theme about most of those. They were mainly bench warmers.
They were either bench warmers or injured.
Yeah.
A few of them were injured. Yeah.
Like Thiago.
So, and Alan for most of the season
A
as
lot
well.
of them are like
so-
centre mids as well. Let's not ignore that fact as well.
Well, and Van der Beek getting signed and then not
Thiago,
being
Van
used.
der Beek, Allen. There's a couple others in there. Tonali.
Yeah.
Probably about half that list was centre mids.
And the thing is they're more
Yeah.
defensive
Matuidi as well.
centre mids as well, which, to be fair, like to get a performance-based inform as a CDM, I think it's quite hard, because I think EA always go with goals. Like, if you score goals, then they'll give you like an inform. Like if you're a defender, if you happen to be like a penalty taker or something like that, that's normally how you get given the informs, or if you get like a load of assists. It's never because you go and get yourself a nice clean sheet and put in like a very hard working performance. Most of the time it's like, oh, you scored a match-winning header. Okay, you can have the inform
There are some
instead.
like that though. There are some absolutely spectacular ones that do get credit, but yeah, I do agree. More often than not, it is, oh look, he scored a header from a corner.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy, he ended up just getting that little cheeky flick on to this.
Yeah.
So it makes sense in that way. But as a general thing, I think that there are some. The main advice is if you think someone's going to get a once to watch, just in the early access, just buy their normal card. It will go up whilst it's in packs. If not, you've still got a player that you can probably sell for a similar, if not a slight loss. But it's probably worth a gamble just to buy a sort of mid-rated one.
Trading with LAJS, everybody.
No,
Mate,
it's
it always happens.
It's common
You always
knowledge.
get like the early access on the web app. If you can afford someone who's almost certainly getting a once to watch, they're not available. It happens. It's same with Team of the Weeks. If you see someone's played really well in the week, Bruno, Upamecano, their normal cards were through the roof because they just didn't exist.
Yeah.
So just buy someone you think either performed well that week or is going to get a once to watch. Basically, any special card will make you get more coins.
And the bonus
that concludes this slight trading series.
yeah. And don't forget, with the trial as well this year, with the next gen, you get 20 hours. So you get 10 hours on the old gen, 10 hours on the new gen. So you can actually accomplish a lot more. 4,600
FIFA points.
Yeah. You can accomplish.
Which, whether you spend that on the draft or whether you spend that, because depending on quality of player, if you're an elite or sort of maybe an upper gold player,
oh yeah,
you can probably get away with doing the draft. You get better packs.
I think that's the most sensible way to spend those FIFA points.
It depends on the quality of how good you are. If you get first rounded and just get silver packs for 300 per time, that's gonna hurt a lot more.
I don't know. Silver.
If you can consistently get to about the semi-final sort of range, maybe even get to the final, then it'll prove worthwhile.
Yeah.
But if not,
if you can win 2 games every time, it works out better.
Yeah,
definitely.
So that's why I personally will try and back myself at first and then start crying in a corner.
Yeah. Maybe just do the odd 600 FIFA points of that 4,600 first, and see how that goes. And then if you think, no, this gameplay's not for me, not the way I play, I need to get better, then go and crack open some packs.
Honestly, I think my first bit of advice is actually going to be and this is going to sound like I want you guys to brace yourself. This is probably a cardinal sin.
Yeah.
God.
Play some score battles.
Yeah. No, that is.
I genuinely think playing.
I don't
score
disagree
battles
with
in the
it.
first,
Like, other than when Icon Swaps
week,
comes out, that is all you need to do.
It'll get you some easy rewards for Sunday because the game releases early access on Saturday or Sunday itself. So it gives you a cheeky little extra bonus straight away off the bat. When's the 22nd?
22nd's a Wednesday, so actually.
Oh, Wednesday. It's fine. You've got plenty of time.
And then,
but yeah,
placement.
Play a couple squad battles matches. That'll get you, especially if you're doing stuff like the advanced SBCs and stuff.
Yes.
It will get you the loyalty on them if you bought the players.
Yeah.
So you can then get the loyalty on them with playing 10 games of squad battles or rivals or however. So, and then you've got yourself rewards coming.
Yeah.
You get rewards early with squad battles, which is why I'm actually somehow recommending that, which I never thought I'd do.
I always play it early on, to be fair. I always play it early on.
It just gets you that little Kickstarter of coins and a little pack that can maybe get you something okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talking of one-to-watchers and performances, anyone watch today's football or seen much of today's football?
I watched.
I saw a red card in one game and walked off and went to watch a real-life game.
Okay.
Real
life football.
Yeah, real life, nitty gritty, non-league football, Conference South game between Dorking Wanderers and Billericay Town.
Fine.
Game ended 2-1. Dorking were probably the better side. At least in the first half, everything seemed to happen at the other end. Sadly, it was a solid performance all round though. The main sort of mainstay was our goalkeepers seem to have a lot of confidence. Slav loved to just play little cheeky passes out in front of everyone whilst being absolutely pressed.
Oh, he's playing pep
9.
football, is he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean,
But yeah,
I'm
as
sort
for
of,
the Spurs game, I really don't want to speak about.
well, I'm just kind of
It's terrible.
scrolling through now, and you're talking about, like, obviously we were talking about one to watches and things, weren't we? And as I look through, like, if Lukaku was to get a one to watch, he'd be shooing for an inform today, 2 goals.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing is obviously these games won't impact the first week of informs, will they? Because
Oh no, I don't mean. I mean,
No,
if
he
this
said it,
was,
so he
yeah,
covered
if
himself.
this
He said
if
it.
this was,
Importantly.
and
That's a big
and
word.
obviously Ronaldo would, but EA would do their best to stop that from happening, because they'd probably plan him for, you know, a promo coming up or something. Other than that, I suppose someone in Crystal Palace would definitely get one. Edouard. Maybe.
yeah.
And then then you got to look obviously to other leagues and stuff to see that. But yeah, obviously Norwich now fully bottom of the league. Not a surprise, if I'm honest, when I saw the fixtures for the start of the year for them, seeing that they had the tough 4 games, expected the losses. So it's what they do from now determines the rest of their season. But at least the first win for your team, Mez.
To be fair, I gotta say I would have rather seen Norwich win. Because first of all, it wasn't even a convincing win today. 1-0, like, okay,
2.
like, Aubameyang scored, great, that's good, yeah, that's nice. But because we've won, Arteta's he's basically earned himself some more time at the helm, which could potentially.
Do you think what you think a 1-0 win at Norwich against Norwich is convincing enough for that? Do you?
Well, because at the end of the day, I think like if it was a loss, I think it definitely would have been like, yeah, I think you've got to get out of that door, right? You clearly aren't doing a good enough job. I think scraping a 1-0 win. Because, like, I'd personally say
it's just buying his time.
It's just buying his time, and
Yeah.
I think today with like what I enjoyed the most about the Crystal Palace game is that it finally exposed your Spurs team a little bit. Because I think
us having an injury at centre back, 2 not eligible to play, having to play a makeshift left back who's awful anyway at centre back, and then
Tanganga
Joe
gets sent
Rodon
off.
as well, and having someone sent
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
We got exposed today, lads. We had about 5 centre backs missing for either being sent off or being injured mid-game or not eligible to play. But we got exposed.
Yeah, well,
in terms of how we are.
Yeah, but I
actually
think
flawed
your first 3 games, I wouldn't say they were convincing. Like you've even admit, like you're happy because obviously
we're
you
not
got
convincing,
one.
but saying we've been exposed for the scenario we got put in.
Yeah.
But I think
it's
like,
kind of it's a self-inflicted version of what happened to Liverpool last year. If you're having to use like your 4th and 5th choice centre back, I'm sorry, you can't be expected to be in the same scenario as anything else. Spurs played terribly with 11 men. Harry Winks shouldn't be on the pitch. He shouldn't be playing for us.
No.
But to say Spurs got exposed fully when we had 10 men for about 35, 40 minutes.
Well, you had 10 men before a first goal was scored anyway.
Yeah, that was a penalty as well. But Ben Davies stuck his hand out and freaking handballed across.
Yeah.
The third goal.
Who was only on the
Rodon decided to
was
go and
only on the
follow
pitch
someone
through.
else.
He was only on the pitch really through Tanganga being sent off.
Yeah.
So again, it's all
Eric
circumstantial,
Dyer got
isn't
injured
it?
early on.
Dyer
due
got
to
injured, yeah.
mainly a
So
50-50.
Rodon comes on.
Saying we got exposed, it's probably
Nah,
a bit.
yeah, I think
Just it's just looking at the face stats and going, oh look, 3-0.
yeah,
I guess
exactly.
that happened.
And you look
When you
there
look
and
into
you
the
think,
finer things of Sanchez and Romero not being eligible,
and
you've got a player
Son,
sent off. Son's injury is not helping,
no,
and you've ended up getting injury
Bergwijn.
mid-game as well to a centre back.
Well, and
You're not going to
Bergwijn,
have a perfect game, are you?
Bergwijn, like Son's real, like basically his, not his replacement, but you know what I mean, his backup
Yeah.
on that side also being injured. So you know,
Might
I think
see Brian Hill play. You never know.
I still think that yes, I would fancy with those things that you wouldn't lose 3-0, but then as soon as you go and get that first injury and then you go and get the red card, well, yeah,
doesn't help your cause.
it's an uphill battle. I think that was tough.
The defending for the third goal was atrocious. Joe Rodon, who was tracking Edouard, decides to just randomly go to the ball and just leaves that pass comfortably open. So
Well,
I mean,
if I now touch on this, looking at this league table, Man United, Chelsea, Man City, top 3. You guys think that? I mean, personally, I think that will be the same 3 at the end of the season. Maybe not in the same order, but
no, because you got to add Liverpool up there as well.
Someone's trying to get in Girk's good books.
No, personally, because before the start of the season, I said the top 3. I couldn't say what order it is. I think personally, I feel like Chelsea are going to win the league because I think like defensively.
I think it's going to be them or Man United.
I think I think Man United against certain teams just don't really get. I think is it the smallest teams? I think it is that they struggle because
I'm fully sold on the Ronaldo
those
factor.
Teams that Ronaldo normally absolutely praise on.
Yeah. I'm fully sold on the Ronaldo factor. A brace on his
Ronaldo factor
debut.
in the smaller games, I think, will end up carrying him through. But in the bigger games, they do have the firepower overall. I mean, Ronaldo slaughters the small teams.
Yeah.
He absolutely. I'm not saying he just pads stats, but like he is a huge difference maker in those games.
I know everyone's going to say his first goal today was a tap in.
Shows up and just slaps him.
Yeah. His first goal today was a tap-in. Yes, it was, but you've got to be that type of striker that is in that position to get that tap-in in the first place.
Yeah.
This guy's got years and years of experience of being a striker who doesn't have to move very much to score as many goals as he does. Because all he does is he puts himself in the right position every single time. And I think that is something that Man United have missed for a little while now for their out-and-out striker. And I think... Yeah, I can see. I think it's them or Chelsea. I think that'll be the race at the end. Them or Chelsea.
So you see City petering out, do you?
Nah.
Yeah, I think they'll be 3rd or 4th with Liverpool. Yeah.
But I think defensively, City and Chelsea definitely Chelsea, and I think City are going to be better defensively as well. Because
now Nathan Ake's out of the defence.
Yeah, like Laporte. I was saying. Like Laporte should have been in the team like last season, but for some strange reason he was alienated last season. But this season it looks like it's going to be him and Diaz as the duo at centre back, rather than Stones and Diaz, and I think that's going to be very solid. And then now that with what's happening with Mendy, I think playing Cancelo at left back as well. I don't know. I haven't seen the lineup today, but I know like they were like last time they played Cancelo at left back, and I think ideally playing Cancelo at left back is a great idea because then they've actually,
they did. They played him at left back today.
That's I don't know why they didn't do that last season. To be fair, like they've been needing a left back, and they've had that Cancelo who has actually in the past played at left back, and he's perfectly capable of playing on either side. And
do you think that they planned that like Walker was maybe going to go somewhere?
No, because I think Man City like have that competition in that team, don't they? They seem to like having lots of quality players in each. Like you always look at the Man City bench, and it's always like
apart from the striker. But I think like they're actually doing quite well without the striker at the moment. Ferran Torres is decent. Yeah. He's doing well.
And the thing is, though, they're always going to create a stupid amount of chances,
exactly.
And that's. At the end of the day, if they keep doing that, then they're obviously going to get, they're going to get goals, aren't they? It doesn't matter whether you've got an out-and-out forward, especially when you've got people that are going to run into the box and attack players like a Sterling, like a Grealish. They're going to win challenges, they're going to win penalties, or they're going to be able to just slide that one pass off for a tap-in. So they'll pick up goals regardless of having a striker. I would have liked to have seen them pick up someone, so it would have been exciting to see the criteria striker they could have got. If they'd have got Haaland, maybe even probably weren't on their radar, but a bit lower down. If they'd have got Lautaro, I'd like to have seen him in the Prem this year. Maybe he'd have gone to Tottenham if Kane would have moved. But yeah, I just think looking at Man United defensively, like Shaw's unbelievable at the moment. With Varane now certifying that centre back partnership, and then Wan-Bissaka at the back, I just think I feel like it's their year. I think getting Ronaldo certified is their year.
I still think they're missing that CDM piece.
Yeah.
I still think there's that one little cog. That's the if they have someone like even like a Rice, if they have a Rice, they have the chance of Camavinga, Basuma was a good option. Any of those sort of players, someone who's a Prem proven or some form of quality. So Camavinga's a rogue shout at this point, but a sort of proven DM to step in. That is the one thing they're missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
still think
one
people.
part of the cog that's not there.
I do think people still overlook how good Matic is. I think he's still actually a solid CDM, but
No.
Maybe like
but
2-3
not
years
for
ago.
but not for
these days.
Well, no, I was going to say a solid CDM, but maybe not for a Premier League winning side.
Yeah.
Not
So-
game in, game out either.
I think
None of
yeah,
that.
maybe an eighth downwards tier. He would be in their starting 11, but maybe not for
Not for a United. Not at that point. If they were
No.
chasing trophies, Matic is not good enough for a United,
no.
and he's certainly not good over a 38 game season as the starting CDM.
No, definitely not.
Fred's just Fred.
Hit and miss,
Well,
basically.
I think United fans will agree with me, and I just have to say Fred is Fred.
Yeah, Fred is Fred.
Um,
Yep, and before we close this off, I'm just going to update again. It is 2-0 to Marseille, so Ben Cheddar is very unlikely to be getting an upgrade. Guendouzi 97.
Even though I did
rated
him
CDM. I did them both.
With 5-star
so.
as well, I believe. I believe they gave him 5-star skills.
They did give Guendouzi 5-star skills.
They didn't upgrade Ben Yedder for some reason.
Oh.
No.
They didn't give him 5-star, but they gave Guendouzi randomly 5-star skills.
Yeah,
It makes so much sense.
yeah.
But yeah, that's I think that's all.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much
all the
for,
topics.
yeah,
That's all
yeah,
the topics for the
today.
for the FSB creators as we are. So, what's to come basically for you guys on us? Obviously, we are going to bring out more episodes of the FIFA Tiers podcast. So basically, this is the way this is going to work. Is we're always going to give you a This Week in FIFA when it comes to these podcasts. The rest of the stuff will basically be around promos. Like Luke said, he is the objective man. He is going to be talking to you about the objectives, and you'll be able to check him out on YouTube to see his player reviews around those players as well. But generally, we'll be talking about whatever that Friday content is or what is going on in the game. Probably, no doubt, we'll be talking at some point about bugs and things, because I'm sure there are going to be some when the game first comes out. But in terms of our content creation, Mers, what have you got for FSB this year?
For FSB, I've got my budget builder face-off. So obviously, a lot of the time when you see squad building series, everyone is like, most of the time they're just using the same old players. They're using expensive players as well, but I think there's a little bit of a gap in the market sometimes. Maybe it's because a lot of the player base don't necessarily have millions of coins. Maybe they want to see some players that are cheap. So I have price cap limits basically on my series, so we'll get to see some more interesting teams basically, and there's going to be some changes to my rules this year as well. So
Are you able to reveal them now quickly? Or?
Yes, so there's going to be basically we're going to bring in a whiteboard basically. We get the good old famous, like the trope with most other series that you see out there. So like before, obviously you build your squads and stuff, but now when before we start building squads, we're going to write down some player names. So it's going to be, I haven't decided whether it's going to be 4 or 5. But you write down 4 players that you think the opponent might use, and if the opponent does happen to put those players into the team, you basically get to swap them for you get to swap them for bronze players instead. The Joker card, that's changing as well. So the Joker card is going to be, you can use any player, they don't use up the budget, and they're going to be exempt from the discards. So,
okay.
Oh, there we
So
go.
that gives you basically a reason to then put some really good
players
Joker
in
cards
basically.
Yep.
Exactly. So
like
it's
that.
essentially, so you're going to have the marquee player, and then you're going to have the second marquee player, who's obviously from packs, and then you're going to have potentially a third marquee player, which is the Joker card. But that one won't get discarded. So but there's going to be no loans though. No loans allowed. So
No loans.
okay.
Oh god.
Okay.
yeah, exactly. So
Oh my god.
So exactly, so it makes it a bit more interesting. So you'll have like loads of various different price players, like some cheap ones, middle tier ones, and then you obviously got the super expensive one that you know that is safe to be in that team without discarding it, because especially as us small content creators, right? We don't have loads of money where we can just pump money into the game to get loads of coins back and then recoup the losses of discards. Like,
No.
So that helps us a little bit, so that we can have a little bit of peace of mind knowing that we can have fun doing this, whilst knowing that I put a 2 million coin player that's not going to get discarded, and I don't have to lose and try and figure out how I'm going to recoup those 2 million coins, basically. Because I would say over the months that I did budget build a face-off and all the other series, I probably might have ended up like having to discard about 8 mils worth of coin players, and that
And most of that's just
damaging.
on your TikTok with Ronaldo and etc.
yeah, exactly. So like it's well, these ones that I've done discards on lately, obviously they're nothing, because towards the end of the game it doesn't really bother me too much, to be fair. But like, especially in our October time and stuff, we're going to be like, we got to think, most of our coins have got to last as long as we possibly can, basically. So that's the whole thought process, but with that, basically. So it'll be fun, hopefully. I've got to do a wheel for it, because I had the pot, but I'm going to do a wheel now on that wheel spin that will have like loads of different things and modes and stuff. So FIFA 22 is going to be fun for budget builder face off. But
sounds good.
Let's move on to the FUT Eliminator, Brad. What have you got to say about FUT Eliminator and what you've
FUT
got
Eliminator? So I touched on it in the giveaway. That basically the rules are. I touched on it in my last video, actually. That the rules are changing for FUT Eliminator. So position changes now. Basically to help Luke out as well. You can play strikers at CDM, CM, Cam, whatever.
Perfect.
My reason behind that was just basically like a couple of times last year, and I'm sure they'll do it again. I found it like I always reference the Player of the Month Andre Silva card. Looked to me like a Cam, and so I felt like I don't want to limit that has to be played at striker. He wasn't quick enough. He wasn't, suitable enough to be played as a striker, but he would work really nicely in a Cam formation. So I'm going to allow people to play them players in that position. I said you can't start moving left wingers at left backs and right backs at centre back or whatever. But just that particular change is going to come in, and also, unlike Mers, who's taking away his pot for a wheel, I'm adding a pot to FUT Eliminator for FIFA 22, and that is basically going to be a game mode pot. Now that doesn't necessarily mean a game mode in FIFA, because going into the pot will be concede equals discard.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Right. That's news to me. Alright.
So
I thought we were saying, here we go with Mers saying, don't worry, I can save your coins. And now here comes concede equals discard.
Yeah, but you got to think with FUT Eliminator, like there's no budget or everything. So if you get your first player, you get your second player, and we'll know. I will make sure we'll have to have drawn the game mode out beforehand, because there will be things that will affect the squad building as well. So so basically when it comes to that, like Mers said about the guest players, so like the players you're guessing for the other teams, there is going to be a locked players in mind, so basically my new rule will be counteracted by one rule in the pot, where you can only play a left wing at left wing, you can only play a striker at striker, Cam at Cam, just to make the squad building portion a little bit more interesting. But obviously, so that way you will know if it's concede equal discard prior to going into the game. So if you decide to put R7 or CR7 or whatever into your squad, you need to be prepared if it's concede equals discard. Yes, those episodes might see us put in some cheeky 2K players, but hey, money, coins are coins.
I mean,
if we played each other and got 11-10 score lines, then we're going to lose most of our team.
I'm a lot worse at FIFA than I thought I was.
The only problem is I need to ask, with your locked positions, because obviously the formations are picked from a pot. So what happens if we get a formation with left wings, left forwards, right forwards?
Yep. So
4-3-2-1 and 3-4-2-1.
Yeah, so unless they're the marquee players that will be in those positions, you will have to pick a right forward or left forward to go in there.
They don't exist.
Yeah, but
They I think they
rarely
will.
exist.
You think they will?
I think they will a little bit more
like
this
one
year.
of the famous examples of a natural right forward.
Yeah,
and then there's Lucas
like,
Piazon.
I'm gonna have a look right now on.
I think there's like 6 right forwards, maybe 7, including De Bruyne.
For this year, there is.
Nowadays.
I think it's going to change.
Yeah, left
okay.
forward. If you exclude the special cards, you've got just a silver and a bronze.
And if you go right forward, there's 6 total, all special cards: De Bruyne, Ziyech, Volland, Ilicic, Malinovsky, and Lucas Piazon. So that is going to be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, basically you're taking 2 bronzes guaranteed, is what I'm hearing.
Potentially, we'll see how it works. If that, it'll all be the game modes pot can be changing, I suppose. If something doesn't work, then it's up for change. But yeah, they're the only 2 things I'm adding into FUT Eliminator, and FIFA Yahtzee will be coming back just for promos only, Team 1 and Team 2s, etc. But I won't be doing it in the off period, whereas FUT Eliminators obviously will be going all the way through, because there'll be transferred gold cards and stuff that we haven't seen in the game, and gold cards that just want to see what they're like for this game, because they might be the new meta, or whatever. What about you, Luke?
So, to conclude, we've got 2 more series to talk about. We talked about Mers, who's wanting to save people's coins, and Brad seems to be a masochist and wants everyone's coins to vanish. So you can tell who created this following series. We have got ourselves I'm trying to remember the exact name of it, a draft series.
Bonus draft.
Bonus builder draft. There it is.
Bonus draft builder.
Draft. But that's fine. Listen, okay, I stumble over words. It's fine. Bonus draft builder. But basically, that is a series where we will be getting ourselves.
I'm excited for this one, by the way.
It'll be a 1v1 situation. It'll be a weekly episode, and basically, we get a few different things that can happen. We spin nations, and we get bonuses for the nations if we get players in the draft with that nation.
Yep.
We then get to pick a club.
Yep.
Based either off that nation or randomly, if whoever you think is going to show up most likely in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And then in order of who finishes first, second, and third, you get points according to that. So 2 points for first, 1 for second, none for third.
Or let's bear in mind as well. Or this series, in a crazy turn of events for FIFA content creation, can have 4 people. In that instance, you'll have a 3-pointer, 2-pointer, 1-pointer, and 0-pointer. I'm excited for this series. For this, this is a new realm of content creation that I can't believe. One, we haven't seen yet, but also that we are the guys innovating this.
And I'm afraid of this series, and I think Mers is as well, because keeping a hold of coins early doors. There are 3 tiers of discards that will be available in that. There is a high-end one, so you get your high-end players. One of them will get selected for your final 3. And then you've got mid and you've got low-tier discards. And oh my god, that could hurt. That could very much hurt if we hit the high-tier one. So
depends how cracked drafts are at the start.
Oh, I'm expecting to still get someone like a Ronaldo, a Neymar, or a Messi in a draft.
Yeah.
And probably still end up losing. So that could be a club deletion every single time. Or
to be fair,
as we know, when you get a club deletion, you just do a FIFA point giveaway.
Exactly what I was about to say.
Keep in touch, and I might have to call my bank and say, I'm sorry, I lost again.
Yeah, I think that is something we need to make a rule, that if it's ever going to be a point where it's detrimental to the future creation of our series, then there will be FIFA points on the line for you guys. So, like Luke said, just make sure you're following us on all our platforms.
Exactly.
There will most likely be a fair few giveaways in the early doors.
I would say so.
And then at any point, someone will have a team of the year and lose. It will happen.
God,
it will.
You wait. So someone will hit the team of the year, and there'll be a giveaway, and you guys can enjoy that.
Yeah.
But basically, that is the second to last of our series to mention. The last one is my personal series, which is known as Heated Head to Head. The wheel, as you can see here, it still says all the hot sauces on. That will correspond to which of the actual nations you can pick from, whether it be top 9, A, B, etc., all the way down to T to Z. You have to use a player from that. You have a marquee player, and a third one you get from a pack. And as we did in our most recent episode of that series, there are 2 power-ups, which is the freeze, which is basically the equivalent of a super safety, where if someone says that position, you can just completely get them to move away from there. Can't be used on a goalkeeper. And you have a super hot. Now, the super hot got used a bit confusingly last season, so I'm going to basically say it is an open-ended question about anything, and it replaces only one of your questions that you have in terms of what club, what nation, what league. You can replace one of them with a completely open question, a yes/no question, whether it be is your player from this league, and then you could add league questions afterwards. So you get the response to the super hot, etc. You get that once per game.
Okay.
Sounds really complicated. It's not as complicated in practice, trust me. I'm just terrible at explaining things.
Would the question be before you ask the league
Yes.
slash thing? Yeah, okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so you could say
you pronounce super hot, and then you say your question. So if that's the bit, if you think you've got a perfect link, you go, is it this specific player? Yes. Or is it not? Does their name feature this letter at the beginning or something like that? It's basically a way to, if you think someone's used a perfect link, to try and break said perfect link, because otherwise it's a pain. It's a real pain.
Yeah. I can see where it could be useful. Yeah.
But I think that is going to conclude the first 3 FIFA Tiers podcast. I'd like to thank Brad and Mers for being here.
Thank you very
I
much.
mean, I'm not there.
That's amazing.
I'm here. But yeah.
It's fun. And I'd like to thank all you guys for listening for the previous hour and a half.
Yeah.
And that has been the episode. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
See you guys later.
See
Thank
ya,
you.
everybody.